Hello and welcome to Emergingissuer.com. I'm your host, Denise Poole. We've got a great show for you today. We have in the studio with us John Carlson. He is the CEO of an emerging issuer, Torrent Energy. The company trades on the NASDAQ over-the-counter bulletin board under the symbol OTCBB TREN. Torrent Energy Corporation is a Colorado-based energy company. Torrent is committed to pursuing unconventional niche opportunities in natural gas, with a primary focus in North America. Torrent conducts its business in an environmentally and socially responsible manner. Now, before we start talking with John here, let's get a quick word from our sponsors. We are here with the CEO of Torrent Energy, John Carlson. John, how are you today?
I'm good.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Denise.
So, John, can you tell us briefly about the state of Torrent's current business activities?
Yes, I'd love to tell you about it. Right now we have two projects going in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Our main project right now, which we've been pursuing for the last 2 years, is a coal bed methane project in the state of Oregon. We're located on the coast in a place called Coos Bay, Oregon, famous for its cranberries, golfing, and forestry.
Nice.
and we hope to make it famous for natural gas from coal, often called coal bed methane. Our second project is in the state of Washington, just north of Portland and actually just west of Mount St. Helens. So an interesting area that a lot of people know about. It's also a coal bed methane project, but there is also opportunities for conventional gas production. That project is just getting started up in its development phase, and is about 2 years behind progress of Coos Bay.
Oh, interesting. Well, it's really good to know. So, a question. Recently, you put out some compelling news about the project in Oregon. So, what are the company's goals for that project?
Well, we started 2 years ago as a company acquiring a large land base in Coos Bay. We've now got 116,000 acres of natural gas leases. We've drilled a total of 7 wells on that property. We've spent $20 million in 2 years, and we are now in the testing phase of coal bed methane production, the first time ever in Oregon. And we're quite excited about this because just the last few weeks we put our first well on production. That's
great. So I'm wondering just personally, are there any environmental concerns that could rear its head in this area?
Coal bed methane has its own issues environmentally. There are places in the United States where it has become an issue. Disposal of produced water is something you have to manage.
Yeah.
One of the things we did as a company before we started the actual drilling phase was to put together a water management policy and an environmental policy. That's posted on our website. We have engaged the community with our activities. We're transparent in what we do. So yes, there will always be people that worry about environmental issues, but we are using best practices in the industry, and we communicate with everybody in the community so that they're aware of what we do. And right now, the plans that we are proposing in the future should be an environmentally responsible program.
Great, great. So the oil and gas sector as a whole has fared very well amid surging energy prices. So on a macroeconomic level, where do you see the marketplace moving over the next few years?
Well, I guess I'll draw on some of my previous experience in the oil and gas industry as an independent consultant. I always believed around the year 2010 that Canada and the United States would enter a period where natural gas would no longer meet the demand in each country, and we would have to find additional sources of gas from either unconventional sources, Arctic gas from Canada and Alaska, or from the east coast of the United States, or LNG from offshore locations from Asia or the Middle East. That's happening. There's no question that we saw a huge surge in gas prices this last year, and that's natural gas prices.
Yeah.
And that's primarily because the supply-demand curves are much tighter. And my view is that it's going to stay that way for a number of years until major pipeline supply from the Arctic or Alaska comes into being.
Well, now we have one big question, John, the important one that everyone wants to know. Why should investors be attracted to Torrent Energy?
Well, I guess what we're trying to let investors know is that we're a very unique company with an interesting project. We have a very large project in terms of its upside. The amount of gas that sits in the Coos Bay Basin, we've had it analyzed. We've had independent evaluations of the size of the prize, so to speak. It's quite significant. And
Grand prize.
The grand prize, yes. And we think that it's worth chasing. Certainly we're off everybody's radar screen, we think, in terms of the investment community, because we're on the OTC bulletin board at this current time. We think we can add significant value by developing this resource in Oregon. And second of all, we have a project in Washington that's of equal size that 2 years from now will be in the same position, we believe, with production testing going on.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show today, John. It was really nice talking with you.
Thank you,
For Emergingissuer.com, I'm Denise Poole.